Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Si. Welcome to Business in the Brew, a podcast dedicated to all things business with the occasional cuppa.
We take a business story, theory, or something we just want to chat about and give it a dusting of our own special personality and sense of humour, combined with our experience and knowledge. We're both business graduates and have run our own businesses for many years. We can't wait for you to listen. We are back. And this is legitimately one we could be doing in the pub.
Oh.
But unfortunately we're not in the pub. We're in the studio. But we can go to the pub afterwards because we're getting towards the end of the day.
And in case anyone thinks that we kind of rehearse this, we don't.
We don't.
Danielle is
anything.
actually genuinely telling me this story for the first time, so I don't know what to
first
expect.
Time ever.
Yeah.
So
All I know is it's about pubs.
Pubs, yeah, it is. I've called it Last Orders. So it's about the British pub crisis, basically. But interestingly, there is like a positive element to the pub story. The actual pub story makes me very sad because I grew up when I was 17 with my fake ID. I totally went to the pub, and I've been going to the pub, and I think it's a cultural thing, and I love the chat and the laughter and the atmosphere, and I genuinely miss that smell. You know, the smell of a pub
beer.
during
I love stale beer.
COVID. Oh, liquor beer, Matt. No, don't do that. Gross. But anyway, at its peak, England and Wales had around 60,000 pubs. By 2024, that figure was closer to 44,000.
Oh, good grief.
On average, we are losing roughly 50 pubs a month.
That's a stunning figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, right. I do remember some figures being thrown around at one point. It's probably about 10 years ago. It's literally a pub a week's closing. Pub a day's closing.
Yeah. It's probably slightly more than that now.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah.
For me personally, because it's part of the culture I grew up with, it's devastating.
Well, I think it's a part that a lot of people grew up with.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they are there. They're just there as part of the community.
They are, and that's the kind of the thing. It's not just about losing real estate.
Yeah.
You're losing community, not literally community centres, but you're losing a community connection, a meeting place, a mental health resource for some people. Maybe not if you're an alcoholic, but you know what I mean. A piece of local identity. But if you walk into a brewery tap room on a Thursday night and you can't get a seat, or the micropub 2 streets away from the closed Wetherspoon has a 3-month waiting list, you'll see that there is an element of pub culture that's still alive, but in a very different iteration. So, kind of like death to one half / life to another.
Right.
So, as I said before, the pub is arguably Britain's greatest social institution. Yeah, baby.
And what, even greater than the WI?
Yes.
Right.
For me personally. More embedded in daily life than the church, more democratic than the golf club, more affordable than the restaurant. It's got roots going back to Roman tavernae, through medieval ale houses, Georgian coaching in...
Roman what?
Tavernae.
Really?
That's what that says, tavernae. Yes, you can put your glasses on to read it, because I pronounced it correctly.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Thank you.
Which is where tavern comes from.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that list again now because you ruined it. Roman tavernae, medieval ale houses, Georgian coaching inns, Victoria gym palaces, 20th century social clubs. All of those, they are the model of the pub as it's evolved through time. CAMRA.
All taking bits from all those.
And you know CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale, founded in 1971, has spent over 50 years documenting and fighting the homogenisation of British beer and the closure of British pubs.
They absolutely did. And they've done their job.
Yeah. And for much of that period, they were fighting the pubco model, so the large property companies owning pub estates and renting them out to landlords, which I know there are some particular pubcos you're not a massive fan of.
Yes.
Not a huge fan. And you get to the door and you're like, no, this is one of those. And I'm like, okay, we'll go elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I know they'll have Malibus, so please can we go back? And the industrial lager that was replacing regional ales. Today the threats are more numerous and fundamental than that. It's not just those two things. So why are the pubs actually closing? And the causes are layered. You've got business rates, you've got property tax on commercial premises, punishing pubs essentially, which need that large floor area to, seat the people, but they operate on incredibly thin margins. A pub in a town centre can pay tens of thousands in rates annually, while the off-licence next door pays a fraction. Utility costs have surged, and you bear in mind you need a cold cellar, multiple refrigeration units, commercial catering equipment, a large heated space to make pubs extremely energy intensive. All of that is going to cost you money. Smoking ban in 2007 had a massive impact. It removed profitable outdoor smoking gardens from pubs that didn't have the space to create one.
But it also introduced people back into pubs that didn't.
It did, yeah. So there'll always be a balance.
And didn't go to the pubs because they didn't like coming away smelling of cigarettes.
I used to have to spray my hair with Febreze. And then alcohol duty, UK beer. UK duty on beer is among the highest in Europe, making every pint at the bar more expensive to pour than competitors across the channel. If you layer on top of that the cost of living crisis, which suppressed discretionary spending, people just simply stopped going out as often.
Yeah. Add to that also wages, increasing.
Yeah, I mean the margins were tight anyway, but increasing wage costs will do that too. And there are some other things I'll come on to later, like generational things. Then you had like the pubco problem we talked about. So the tied house model, where a landlord rents the pub from a large property company. They're required to buy their beer. Well, they're required to buy the beer from that pubco or brewery at above market rates. You're not allowed to shop around.
Not free market rates.
No agentic shopping for these people. And it's been enormously controversial. So pubcos like Punch Taverns and Enterprise Inns grew massively in the 2000s, taking on huge debt to buy the pub estates to start with. And when the financial crisis hit in 2008, many of them became distressed because they'd outlaid way more than they were able to claw back. Tied landlords found themselves paying above market rent and above market beer prices with tiny margins to start with.
It was interesting how they used to recruit as well. They wanted inexperienced landlords.
Why?
That they could train and effectively influence and
that sounds kind of
subordinate.
Sounds like grooming.
Yeah.
The pub code adjudicator was introduced in 2016 to regulate this relationship, but the fundamental tension remains. Large property companies whose interests don't always align with the communities their pubs serve. You know, that will always be the case, whatever you bring in. So there's also the changing customer.
Yeah.
So the demographics of drinking have shifted substantially. So millennials and Gen Z drink less alcohol than previous generations.
Yes.
Not dramatically so, but meaningfully so. They drink less frequently, but spend more per occasion when they do. We're bingers.
Yeah.
More interested in premium quality, provenance and experience. More likely to be interested in alcohol-free options. There's a lot of sober curious people. Also more likely to have...
Sober curious. Excellent.
I know. A home cinema, streaming subscription, games console, at-home cocktail kit. So the competition for leisure time and the spend has never been fiercer.
And I've forgotten this, because this is a litany. It's a long list of stuff. And did you mention supermarkets and the rise of the supermarket and how much beer they sell?
Not as much,
they have a vast range.
Yeah, but in theory, the on-trade and off-trade, in theory, shouldn't compete, but they do.
But they do.
Because of the in-home entertainment
people are choosing to stay at home.
Because you've got a streaming service and you want to watch the latest Spider-Man or whatever it is, you get a bottle of wine to watch with it. You want to make yourself a nice meal at home. You know, you get something to have with it. So while the on and off trade tension has already existed, and if you don't know what that means, on trade means drinking on site, off trade means drinking off of the site where you bought it, so drinking at home. It does have a massive impact. Well, just in case you didn't know, I don't doubt you knew.
No, I meant thank you on behalf of the listeners.
Okay, and the other one, Gen Alpha. So that's 2012 to 2024. They projected to be the most sober generation yet.
Wow.
They believe in moderation, health, they're sober curious, alcohol-free, and digital socialisation means that they haven't got the need for the pubs. They don't need to physically go and meet someone in real life because they're playing Scrabble online.
Because they've adjusted.
Yeah.
They have completely
There are alternatives, there's a coffee shop culture, there just isn't the same need for getting pissed in a field that we had when we were younger.
Coffee prices are going to be near the price of a pint soon.
Probably, yeah. So there's that whole generational, the changing customer and the way that's all evolving. And then you've got the micro pub revolution kind of layered into that. So the big format pubs like the Spoons and like your big pubcos and stuff are being sort of replaced by that discerning customer with a micro pub.
That's right.
So in 2005, a former camera activist named Martin Hillier converted a former fishmonger's shop in Herne, Kent, into a tiny pub. No TV, no music, no fruit machines, no lager on tap, just cask ales served in a space smaller than most living rooms.
Yeah.
That's your idea of heaven, isn't it?
Well, it is. And you know what happens with those? They tend to gravitate or have a gravitation of a community towards them. So you'll have a much more loyal and much more diverse and often...
but size-wise, if it's that tiny, this is just a question, I actually don't know the answer, and this has got nothing to do with what I've written. Does it create a clique? Because you'll get those core people who are always in,
together.
And no one else can fit in the door. And if someone else walked in, you'd all be like, what the hell are you doing in our pub?
I wouldn't say a clique exists other than it's obvious who the regulars are when you go into all those places.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the case in most pubs. But in that small confined space,
You can't escape it.
Yes, you can't escape it. Yeah. But that doesn't mean to say that they're not welcoming, because they always are.
Yeah.
You know, because they just want that little pub to be there forever now.
Yeah, so if it takes someone else coming in and having a drink.
They've adopted it, yeah. And I know that from actual experience.
Yeah, because you've got a couple of micro pubs, you do.
Several of those,
yeah. So the Butcher's Arms, which is that one he opened in Herne, is regarded as Britain's first micro pub.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. And then, so that was 2005, first micro pub. By 2024, so I can do the maths, 19 years later. No. Yes, 19 years later, there are over 700 micropubs across the UK. And they work because they strip the costs to the bare bone. There's no chef, there's no large staff, 21 years. Is it the other way?
Did you say 2005?
2005 to 2024.
to 24, sorry, yes.
That is 19.
Yes, it is 19,
okay.
Yes, sorry.
My maths is usually bad, so I accept you questioning me. Anyway, no chef, no large staff, low square footage. They might sell a pork pie or some scratchings, but it's not a food offering. They serve a carefully curated product to a devoted local following and offer something large pub chains simply cannot. So genuine community and conversation.
Yeah.
And in a room that small, that conversation is involving everyone. That's not private. You don't go there for your first date. Well, you might, I suppose. Many are run by people
for approval.
God, can you imagine the fear of walking into your partner's micro pub and everyone turning around and looking at you like, God, whatever you choose, you're going to be judged on what you are. Just awful. Anyway, many are run by people who have taken redundancy or early retirement and want to run the pub they always wished existed. I know you've talked about it before with one of your friends, owning something like this that is the pub you want. And the micro pub movement is proof that the pub as a concept isn't dead.
No, it's definitely a movement.
But the unviable pub is dead.
I would agree with that. Yeah, a pub that isn't offering anything different. A pub that isn't offering anything to the community and actually being part of that community. This is where some certain things have happened recently. There's a place, actually, a brilliant little pub called the Ship Inn in Portlow in Cornwall. Tiny little fishing village. Over, I think it's 80% of the village, the houses are owned by people who don't live there.
Oh God, that's awful.
Yeah, so you've got 20% of people left to
that shouldn't be allowed.
Use the pub. But the pub wasn't actually making any money. It was owned by the local brewery. So the brewery put it on the market. But all the locals, that included property owners in the village, who kind of knew that if that pub disappeared, that would be a problem. Yeah, that would be a problem for them to be renting their properties out as well, and you'd lose value on those. So they all chipped in and bought this little pub, and it's thriving.
See, that I love.
Yeah. There was it's a movement when that kind of thing happened.
And I mean, it's a little bit different in the city centre, isn't it? Where you've got 12 pubs to choose from.
Yeah.
But yeah, with little communities like that. Anyway, the craft beer explosion created a new kind of drinking venue, which is the brewery tap room. So this is not a micro pub. This is something different again.
Yeah.
So rather than wholesaling beer through pubs and losing margin at pretty much every step of the supply chain, breweries realised they could sell direct to consumers from their own space.
Absolutely.
The margins are dramatically better. The brand experience is total.
They use it to augment the stuff that they're selling for the
yes. Well, where did we go to? Was it called the Light? What's it called? The Light something in Nottingham.
It's the one down by the river.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't remember. Can't remember what it's called. But actually, yes, they have their own brewery on site.
Yeah, you've got the brewery, but then you've also got pretty much 2 bottles of wine, and that's it. This is not the kind of place to go if you are a gin drinker or if you're I don't know, Bacardi Breezer drinker. Is that still made? But
who knows?
You've got to love craft ale. You've got to love brewing at its source. You've got to be open to trying lots of different things. It's not for the I don't know how to say politely, unrefined palate, which is mine.
It's hardly refined.
I'll happily say it's mine because I get very upset when I can't have Malibu. I will drink wine, I will drink gin, but I would prefer Malibu. And I think pretty much out of the 20 episodes we've recorded lately, I've said Malibu about 15 times.
Yeah, I know.
And
we're not even sponsored by them.
No, maybe we should reach out to them. They'd love that, wouldn't they? Anyway, so you're drinking beer literally from the tank it came from. You're surrounded by that. You're immersed in it. So the tap room is the pub kind of reimagined around the product. So again, an evolution.
That is often how it happens. And actually, what they do is typically, and where I first saw that was in the States, you would have an amazing brewery that had an amazing reputation around the local area. They couldn't get distribution out of state And what they chose to do is to then bring people into the brewery.
Yes, because it becomes a
and
destination.
then they made the whole brewery the destination, and the brewery itself the experience.
It's a bit like when you do a tour of the Guinness factory, isn't it? And then drink at the top in Ireland.
Yeah,
but that's a commercialised.
That's totally the other way.
Yeah.
And they got St Austell Brewery down in Cornwall actually that has a brilliant brewery experience there. And I don't mean just you go round the brewery, because once you've been round one, you know how they work. But it's actually the food and the
tasting
on
and
site.
the education. Yeah,
that's where people get really excited.
I drove past one the other day. There's one in Hampshire. There's always been a vineyard there, but next door there's now I want to say Pigbush, but I think I made that up. There's a brewery next door, just fascinating. You'd have a right little drunken pub crawl in a bus.
Yeah,
because the New Forest is quite big. Anyway,
they're springing up everywhere, basically.
Yes, can pubs be saved is the question. So there is a legal mechanism under Localism Act 2011. So assets of community value, the ACVs, that allows local communities to list their pub and trigger a right to bid when it comes up for sale. Yeah. It doesn't give the community the right to buy. But it creates a 6-month moratorium on the sale, giving time to raise the funds.
Yeah.
So the Ivy House in Nunhead, South London, was the first pub in England to be saved this way, converted into a community cooperative in 2013.
Yeah.
Still open and thriving.
Right.
And there are now hundreds of these community-owned pubs across the UK because the model works. You convert the pub from a property asset serving a landlord to a community asset serving the neighbourhood, and automatically it becomes... It has a different place in people's hearts.
Yeah, it does.
So we're not alone in seeing this trend in the UK. So German beer halls, for example, I'm going to say the actual word, Gaststätten. The Gaststätten are experiencing the same closures as British pubs. Germany has lost over 50,000 pubs and restaurants between 2000 and 2020 because the older generation that sustained the regular Stramish, so the regulars tables, the culture is ageing out. And then young Germans aren't replacing them.
Ageing out? That sounds like tapping out.
It does a little bit,
Dear.
The American dive bar, cheap, unpretentious and community-focused, is having a crisis moment.
Is it?
Yeah, so in New York, rising rents have wiped out thousands of venues that had survived for decades. And in many US cities, craft beer bars, cocktail lounges, that different experience have just taken over.
Wow.
And again, the debate in the US mirrors that we have in this country is gentrification of drinking a net positive, or does it exclude people who needed cheap, accessible community venues?
That's right.
Weirdly, the contradiction to every rule, Spoonies.
Yeah. Because
Wetherspoons does break the mould, because it is a massive estate, but it's still thriving, because it's affordable, because it's accessible. It's doing something different.
Because you can buy a pint at 8:30 in the morning.
That too. There's nothing better than a pint with your fry up. But it's... the dive bars in America might be going, but here Wetherspoons are absolutely thriving alongside a cocktail bar. If I go on a night out, I probably will pop into a Spoons and have a few, because you can get relatively leathered cheaply. And then you move on to the cocktail bar where it costs you a lot of money to get re-leathered.
Your class is showing.
Yeah. Shut up, I love a Spoons. I think they're a really, really clever model. Their business model is pretty much cheap beer, no music, no sport. Love it. It's actually quite close to the micro pub. There's no TV in there. There's no music in there. There's no pretension in there.
No, there isn't.
Literally zero pretension. Every cross-section of society is in a Spoons. But they're just really interesting. But, they are struggling a little bit recently. Like the one local to us is closing. There will be closures, declining profits. But it's partly a cost of living story more than a unsuccessful business model.
Yeah, I think so. That's definitely happening.
So I just think it's really interesting. Everything is changing. It's like what you knew growing up, what you knew as your standard Friday night out, the aspirational where you're going to get to when the kids have grown up or go to the pub every Saturday. It's just changed so much.
Totally. Everything's fragmented.
And I also feel like I don't feel I could ever be sober curious.
Are choices increasing? Or do you think choices are becoming narrower?
I think choices are increasing, but within a narrower window. So yes, there are now 600 bottles of wine you can choose from because it's imported from all over the world. There are now 17 Proseccos instead of one. Yeah. But it's still wine or Prosecco.
Right. So this is kind of like this. It's like the fallacy that we have more choice than we've ever had before, but actually from fewer providers.
Yeah, but there is more choice.
Yeah, but you've got to look for it. That's the thing, isn't it? You've got to dig.
And you've got to know what the difference is.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to be open to the difference as well. So I know if I go into a new town that I've not been to before, I want to search up places that are tucked away around the back streets.
Yes.
I don't want to go.
You don't want the mainstream pub.
No, because
but I know equally, if I go and stay somewhere for a weekend with the kids, the first thing I'll do is find a Wetherspoons because we can get breakfast there really cheaply or dinner there really cheaply, and it satisfies the kids. Yeah, and they're allowed in there. So you bear in mind, we went to Edinburgh or Glasgow, or we went to both, but one of them didn't let kids in pubs. Most of the pubs would refuse to have children. It was Edinburgh, whereas the Spoons don't have that. Yes, you can't have them in past 10 o'clock, but up until that point, you can have your kids in the pub. So,
but no dogs.
But no dogs.
Generally,
I don't have a dog. I just have 2 children. But it's just so different. Everything's got a different reason. Don't get me wrong. I love a cocktail bar. When I go to London on the train, I always come into St Pancras, and I always go to Cersei's.
Don't worry, I wasn't getting you wrong.
Thanks, Cersei's Champagne Bar, and have a glass there because I love Clico and I can't get it anywhere else. And I don't need a whole bottle sitting in my fridge. But equally, I love Malibu. And equally, I will drink an agro pop. And my favourite shooter is a Jammy Dodger, which is, what is it? It's, what's the round bottle with the gold top? Chambord, topped with Baileys. Tastes like Black Forest Gatto.
There you have it. If you want to send anything in, Danielle will taste.
I'll taste the alcohol. Not on air. So, yeah, that is the decline of the pubs, and it's made me quite sad. Not as sad as some of the stuff you say to me, but sad.
But actually, just to continue as well, the pubs. The pubs is interesting. What happens to the pubs? I know it's certainly near where I drink, have drunk, and
still
will continue to drink. Where every street almost had a pub on it. Which is part of the growth in the Industrial Revolution. The breweries, local breweries supplying the local pubs that they owned.
Yes.
At the end of an entire terrace of houses. Those pubs have all disappeared. They've all been turned into HMOs.
The one, the road I live on, there's a pub on there. Yeah. That's closed.
Really?
The Eagle, yeah.
Oh, good grief. Is that now HMO or something? Or is it
it's
turned
into
an
a
Indian
retail
restaurant?
unit.
Tesco's, because Tesco's, I've seen fast food
Tesco
chains.
Metros,
yeah. So they repurpose, but they have taken out a community asset, which is a shame. Just means that they weren't viable. Really,
100%. There's a massive one that's on that road near Ox Close Lane Police Station near us. That used to be a huge pub. Got turned into one of those Chinese all-you-can-eat buffets. That's always full. Apparently, that's retained the community element.
Not really.
Do you not chat to the person
one of those
table?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
No, all right, maybe not.
Go into a pub and talk to anyone about anything.
That's just you.
Support your local pub.
Yeah, do that. And also, can we have more? I think more pubs, because if we go to just tap rooms and microbreweries, I'm going to be very freaking thirsty because I don't drink anything out of either of those. So if Spoons could just keep going for a while until the liver fails completely.
I'm sure they'll manage.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
No
You've got me on
problem
a lovely subject that I have is very close to my heart.
It's all right.
Thank
Just
you.
bring up beer. We're all right.
Thanks for supporting us by downloading and listening to this episode.
And a massive thank you also to Dolly, Emily, Nat and Lewis and the BTD Studios for all your expertise in bringing our podcasting dream to reality.
We'd love it if you commented on this episode, as we'd really like to know what you think and what you might like us to cover in future episodes.
And we'll see you on the next one.